How you guys doing tonight? My name is David Davis, also known as Rainbow Runner, and I would like to share some experience. Look at my shirt. That gives you a context of where we're going. Remember my last video, I shared my experiences about Rock of Ages, the musical that I was in last year for Chandler High School. And now I'm currently in Lame Is, but I also wanted to explain my experiences with this year's fall play, Alice, which took place back in September of 2018. And it was interesting. And I enjoyed it. It definitely wasn't as big scale because, it was only the fall play, and we had it on the Bogle Theater of the CCA rather than the main stage. Okay, so what's the whole ordeal about? Basically, it's Laura Wade's version of Alice, where it's kind of what you would expect, but kind of different as well. Where it's not Disney's version of Alice in Wonderland that we all know and love, but it's a different take on it. Yes, it does have characters like Alice, Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, Queen of Hearts, all characters that you'd expect, but it adds some interesting twists, and again, it's a bizarre tone to it. Now, and it had some interesting, and here's the playbill that I had. We performed on 3 nights, or no, actually 4. The first night was Tuesday the 18th of 2018. We had a special premiere to a small audience, and then it officially opened for the 19th, 20th, and 21st. It was $8 at the Bogle Theater of the Chandler Center for the Arts. Now you're probably wondering, what was my character? Well, I was one of the Queen of Hearts officials, where I wore an ace, like the ace of spades on a card deck. And my fellow official was Doug Sabatka, the son of Beth Sabatka, who was our technical director for our shows. And so we were the officials for the Queen of Hearts, who was portrayed by Haley Palmer. And there are several people that I knew from Rock of Ages that came back for this. And speaking of which, even though this was a play, it actually had a little bit of music to go along with it. Something worth noting is that the musical composition was made by Joey J. Grotto, known as Joey J. the Rapper. And he made a good contribution to making some music to some lyrics that were in the script. And he did a really good job with that. And I have to give mad props to our director Stephanie Likes as well as Casey Likes. They did well directing. Casey especially, only a junior in high school, but he did great doing assistant directing. And I enjoyed it, but obviously the musicals, I think, take precedent over this. But again, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And so, what's the whole ordeal about? So, the playbill plot description says, the White Rabbit is late for the Duchess. The Cheshire Cat won't stop grinning. And the Hatter is, well, mad. In the middle of all is Alice, a young girl with a vivid imagination and a family life that's less than perfect. Follow Alice as she escapes her home to find adventure in a topsy-turvy world. Based on Lewis Carroll's classic tale, Alice breathes fresh life into a much-loved story about rabbit holes, pocket watches, and talking caterpillars. Laura Wade brings you Wonderland as you've never seen it before. And then you have your cast, and like with Rock of Ages, I had people sign the playbill. Again, it wasn't as big, but, it was a production, and I made the most out of it. So, yeah, so there's the Wonderland thing where Alice, who was portrayed by Hannah No, about uh, going into Wonderland, like you probably know, but again, there are some interesting plot twists and some other things that are different than what you'd probably expect to it. And the opening scene at the very beginning of Act 1 is the funeral, which pretty much my real world counterpart. And yeah, the officials were the waiters kind of cooking for the meals. And I actually, one running gag that I also continue from Rock of Ages is, my character falls. Because in Rock of Ages, my protester got beat up by the cops when they were coming in the final countdown. But in here, I fall while carrying a tray with a cup on it. Hey, there needed to be some comedy as well in it. But let's skip over to Act 2, which is where my official, literally, character comes into play. Where I had the Ace of Spades as my costume. And I sure aced the show. Had to get that pun out. It was just lingering. But that's where my character differs from Rock of Ages. Unlike in Rock of Ages where I was like the protester rebelling, I'm taking a more serious tone, just making sure that everything goes smoothly, just typical guard type stuff. And we're first spectating the croquet match between Alice and as well as the Knave of Hearts, who was portrayed by Izzy Stevens. And I have to give mad shout out to her because we had good chemistry in our characters. And also good job to Ryan Cogley, who portrayed the King of Hearts. He's a freshman, but he did really well with that. And we also had the court scene where they were trying to frame who was behind stealing the Knave of Hearts tarts. Or not the Knave of Hearts, the Queen of Hearts tarts. And it was very weird as well. Because first it's Knave versus then it's Mad Hatter and then Duchess, and then they frame Alice and she's like, no, it's not fair. And then everyone cracks up, like literally. And even the officials, me and Doug, are, because we couldn't hold ourselves in, because like typically we try to keep our job serious, but and yeah, that's some good example of comedy and stuff in it. So overall, it was very interesting experience. I made it work very well. And there were some characters that were portrayed by people who have been in the shows before, including Rock of Ages, including Faith Sterling, who portrayed the Duchess, and there are a few others that I've gotten to know a lot better, namely Nainoa Aquano, who played the Mad Hatter. And yeah, it was a bizarre play, but it was interesting as well. It had some nice lighthearted stuff to it. And I enjoyed it. I made the most out of it as I could. And again, being creative with your character, having some chemistry, that will always work. And then we had our usual post-show party at IHOP after the final night. Yeah, that's usually a tradition that carries on throughout from our shows. And speaking of which, well, actually, first, let me show you there. Wait, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, yeah, that's my poster for Alice. And speaking of posters and stuff, I actually have another announcement that I made before. I am in the musical Les Mis for my school, and this is actually going to be my final production since I am a senior this year. And if you guys want to come see it, it is $9 for general admission, $11 for preferred seating at the Chandler Center for the Arts, February 27th, 28th and March 1st of 2019. So, yeah. And you can buy tickets at the door. It's always good. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share my experiences with you. And again, I want to give mad shout outs to everyone who's seen the shows, everyone who's been in the shows with me, whether you're in the cast and the crew, and mad shout outs to everybody. You all rock, and I can't wait for more when we do Les Mis in about a week and a half. I'm really excited. And again, thanks you all for watching this video, for rating, commenting, and subscribing, and just following me. Again, if you want to go see Les Mis, you're more than welcome to. And in case you're wondering, I am part of the ensemble, playing a variety of characters. Well, anyways, I guess that'll wrap this video up. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Rainbow Runner, out.